on to the next thing. Another big story this week has been the Supreme Court of the United States has come down with a lot of rulings, right? And the one that we want to focus on today has to do with Planned Parenthood and Medicaid, right? So states can block Planned Parenthood from receiving Medicaid money for health services such as contraception and cancer screenings. The Supreme Court ruled on Thursday, right? So this ruling or this case was brought up this case was brought from South Carolina, right? A specific state, right? So the Supreme Court ruled in favor of South Carolina on Thursday in a 6-3 vote, allowing the state, aka South Carolina, to exclude Planned Parenthood from its Medicaid program, effectively blocking the organization, aka Planned Parenthood, from receiving Medicaid funding for non-abortion services like birth control, cancer screenings, and other preventative care. This decision means that Medicaid patients in South Carolina will no longer be able to use their insurance to receive these services at Planned Parenthood clinics. And I just don't understand why people keep focusing on things that do not matter. If you've never been to Planned Parenthood or like, oh, what's Planned Parenthood? This is essentially like what it looks like, or their logo. They're like, if you ever been to a urgent care, it's like urgent care, but when specific to reproductive type of needs, right? So Planned Parenthood offers a wide range of health services, including birth control, STD testing and treatment, HIV services, cancer screenings, and abortion care. So now this is saying, right, the Supreme Court said that it is okay for a state to say that, oh, if you are receiving Medicaid or if you are covered under Medicaid, you can no longer go to Planned Parenthood to receive non-abortion care. How is that helping the people of your state?
My whole thing is, right, and I was explaining this a little bit to Shayla. To me, it confuses me because there's times where we are a very pick and choose type of society, right? And so people love to be like, the state shouldn't be in my business when it comes to vaccinating your children, when it comes to education, things like that. But then there's times where states are like, oh, actually, I'm going to implement this. And y'all like, yes, the state should be involved. Y'all pick and choose what y'all want the state involved in, and you pick and choose what you don't want the state involved in. It can't happen both ways. It can't. Do you want to stay involved in your everyday affairs or do you not? Right? And so, like, to me, it's people are bothered by Planned Parenthood, and I feel like people are bothered by it because of the fact that like people do go there for abortions. But that's not all Planned Parenthood does. Like, when you get your screenings, when you get your STD checks and everything like that, like, there's more to it. But people want to be bought. If you have never walked into a Planned Parenthood a day in your life, why are you so concerned about it? And the thing is, it's all these men making decisions for women. And it's just like, you literally came from a woman. You literally came from one. And the fact of the matter is, maybe your mother should have walked into an abortion center and actually not had you. Because if you're going to make decisions like this, it's like you are a waste of a brain molecule. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And also, again, these people are always targeting minorities, low income. It don't matter your race, to be honest, because if you are a low income white person, you are most likely being covered under Medicaid. And so I just want you to know that that is on purpose, right? Because if you are already struggling, and let's say now you can't go to Planned Parenthood to get your STD or ST whatever testing, not all sexually transmitted diseases are the same. Some of them, like, you can live untreated, okay, great. Others you can't, and it may impact your life and how you operate around the world. And it's just like, instead of helping people, why are we making it harder? And I do truly believe is that they do want life to be harder for low income people. You know what I mean? And also, it's like they're making all of these decisions, and I don't think it has nothing to do with, like, clearly they don't care about anybody. But I just want you to know that this is all to put up a front. Because if these leaders, the leader of South Carolina or whatever, because this is setting a precedent for other states, right? Because Trump is like, no, we want all states to be in charge of making their own decisions, right? Okay, so now with this ruling, if you live in a red state and they want to, follow the same guidelines, oh, they said that for our budget, we could ensure that we don't allow Medicaid individuals to be able to go to Planned Parenthood. Like, it just creates a snowball effect. But also, the point that I wanted to get at is like, if these right right wing leaders wanted to get a family member, an aunt, uncle, or whatever an abortion, trust and believe they will go out there and get an abortion. If they needed to get a cancer screening for their family member, they will get it. It's never really about their morals. They're lying. They're lying. You know what I mean? Because if they had to do it for them and theirs, they will do it. But they're only worried about their people. They don't care about you. And that's why I always say, like, people don't care about voting and they don't care about politics, but until it does bother you or until it impacts you, it may be already too late. Because I know a lot of people that are, covered under Medicaid. And I think people have this misconception that Planned Parenthood is just for abortions. You guys saw, I read it here. It's not just abortions. You know what I mean? They provide HIV services and birth control and all of these things that are so essential. And again, these are the same people that claim that they care about women and we don't want men in women's sports. Like, you are worrying about stuff that don't even matter. You're trying to take away these, where I could go and get birth control to help me feel better, to be able to practice well at, my sport. But instead you say you care about me, but you're taking away things over here. They don't really care about you. It's all just a lie.
And my whole thing is, right, I think it also is very interesting to me in terms of like what they decide to police engage, because it's just like whenever the conversation of like pro-life or pro-choice comes up, people are always like, well, if you use protection, none of this could happen. Y'all do, I think condoms are like 98.2% effective or whatever it is, because you never know what could happen. And then people are like, well, stay like, don't sustain in sex. And it's just like, everybody knows everything comes with consequences. We all understand this. And I'm very big on like, take accountability.
Right.
I feel like if people decide I don't want a child because I will not be, first off, I cannot provide an accurate life for my child. I can't provide anything for a child. I would be a terrible parent. When they're getting dumped into the foster system, nobody's like, oh my God, maybe if the Planned Parenthood did it, could have saved their life. No one says nothing like that.
Because they're also cutting funding for that too. So it's like they don't
like, drop them into the system. It's like y'all care about what people are doing or what's growing inside of their bodies. But then the moment that child comes out, it's just like, well, thanks so much for your contribution to society. What are you good? You're not going to do nothing for them.
It's super
just like
hypocritical.
Y'all pick and choose, because it's just like, for me, and I know this is like on a grade, like on a scale of like extreme to whatever, it's like if y'all sit there and say like, oh, you just don't have sex and you won't need an abortion, it's like, okay, DUIs wouldn't happen if you just didn't drink. Like, it's like you're like, I get it. I do get it. Like, some people are like, oh, like I would never do that. That's great for you. That is great for you. The great thing about being a human and living in this society that we like to call the free world is that you can make the decisions that best fit you, your life, your morals, everything like that. That's great for you. But just because somebody has a differing opinion on what they would do that's best for them, that has nothing to do with you. And I think that's like, I'm like, I don't want, like, whenever people are like, oh, like, are you pro-life, pro-choice? I'm pro-mind my business. What you do for you in your life is going to be what you do for you in your life. What I do for me in my life is going to be what I do for me in my life, because that's what works for me. You don't go to sleep and think about my problems. You don't wake up thinking about the task that I have to do, because that's my business. The fact that I don't got eggs in my kitchen, are you going to go to the store for me to get me eggs? No, you don't care about me. I got to go get that for myself. It's like y'all worried about people's
and business. I think the reason why these like people in their mind, they're like, oh, well, because you are using like government assistance or government health insurance, in their mind is like, oh, well, you don't have a right to dictate or like use our money for your benefit in a sense, which in itself is ridiculous. And again, this is just an example of how, they're
But that's
hypocritical.
like me saying you can't use my tax money to fund a war. Like that's literally like, if that's the case, like if we're going like
Right. If we're going toe for toe, let's go.
like let's really do it. I just don't get it. Like